Disconnect all the stuff, hon. Hi, everybody. It's William Michael Forbes here, and welcome to Supernatural Saturday. Off a little late today, as there's a bunch of different things happening in the universe. But I'm rather excited about what's going to unfold today. I have with me Archangel Michael, who's been talking a lot about the need to transform and transmute negative emotional states in how we are being, thinking, and feeling. And so one of the things he said there's far too many people engaged and indulging in fear and guilt and shame, especially through mass media devices like the television. A lot of the material that is coming out of the creative realms into the homes is fear-based, mistrust-based, and doubt-based. It's time to let all of those emotions go. One of the things Michael said to me, he said, it's important that you learn how to center yourself in the present moment. Too many of you are lost in the future or lost to your past emotions. It's important to understand the distinction between those. Right now he's just kind of leaning and looking at me and just saying, it's not that big a deal if you understand that the emotions are just energy that you have, that you just have to learn to let them go. Just to learn to realize that you don't have to indulge in a feeling. In fact, it's better not to give a negative emotion attention, he says, because the minute you give a negative emotion attention, you actually feed it life. You give it life. And that's not a good thing. And again, I'm noticing that we're having some technical difficulties, so please forgive that. I've tried to change a few things according to some tutorials I've been taking, but I'll keep up at it until I've got this perfected. So that there's no more lag or delay, and I'm understanding it's something to do with the latency and the software that I'm using, and the amount and way in which Google receives bandwidth from me as well. But anyway, I'm excited to have all you guys here. His whole thing today is about transmuting and releasing all the emotions. He says Master St.Germain does this quite a lot too. Master St.Germain likes to use what he calls the fire to transform lower vibrational emotional energies. And so you're free to call on either Archangel Michael or on Master St.Germain to transform or transmute negative emotional states. What I do and what I've learned to do over the years effectively to release negative emotions is learning how to breathe and stay with your breath. You'll be amazed. For me, anytime something is triggered negatively emotionally, my breath is my gift from God, I'll say. My breath is my gift from God, that I can feel any form of stress or anxiety or anything like that, and I can breathe with my breath and literally release the stress. And I've had times where I've had to do that for a long period of time to get past things. Historically, when I was really in a difficult point in my life, learning how to breathe became my savior. And I would sit sometimes for 25, 30 minutes just breathing and releasing an emotion until it passed. And what was really fascinating is eventually your body becomes conditioned, as mine has now. Your body will become conditioned to release emotions with that process of just simply breathing. But again, it's like anything else. You have to teach your body and you have to teach your mind exactly how to do that. But it is a fast thing. Now, once I mentioned Master St.Germain, he's coming now too. He's got this very violent energy around him, very violent light, very bright, and it's like a campfire, but like right around his whole being, as if he's engulfed in a 360-degree movement of this violet fire moving around him. And he says he moves with that. He's saying you can use that image. He says you can call on that fire to surround your body and feel its power. He says you can feel it first in your heart. For if you're sensing the presence of my being with you now, for those of you that are here can sense this if you are open and allowing yourself to feel the vibrations. He says that ability to feel the fire in your heart, the violet fire, and expand it out around your body, and allow that energy to transform and transmute the cellular elements of the emotions that you may have inherited from previous incarnations and from your a genetic family line. He says your genetic family line will give you emotional energy too that you might not want to hold on to. He says you can use that violet fire and allow it to restructure and realign the vibrational constituency of your DNA to match the frequency of the violet fire. He says it's important to know how to surrender to an idea that will support you. Michael's just saying, yes, this is true. With this energy, you don't need protection. It is the protection in and of itself. The being in that energy is all you need. Once you are able to be in a certain energetic state, you liberate yourself from other states that don't resonate with it. Much the same way as you can take and I've tried this before, take a drop of a bowl of water, a drop of oil, and drop a bit of oil into the bowl of water. And then take a bit of dish soap, one drop of dish soap, and drop the dish soap in the water with the oil. And you'll watch the oil will be pushed away from the dish soap, usually out to the sides of the bowl. And energy like that, emotional energy works the same way. When you can move yourself into a state of joy, deliberately move yourself into a state of joy, even if you have to use a memory of a time you were happy, but you move yourself into that energy, it will begin to alter and transform and transmute, much the same way the violet fire does, the negative emotional state you might be finding yourself struggling with. And there are many people, Michael's saying, there are millions and millions of you struggling, believing you have no control or power over these emotions, and you have turned to other means of controlling these emotions. But we would say to you that those very emotions that you seek to escape from are the very substance that you need, these spiritual weights, so to speak, that you require to lift in order to strengthen and liberate yourself from them. For they are not your prisoners, but they are the exercising elements that you need to strengthen your spiritual being while in this physical dimension. For there is emotional energy all pervasive through this physical dimension. It is emotion. In motion is what form, time, and space are. They are emotion or energy in motion. It is far more dense in this physical plane. However, if you are able to move yourself into the place of joy or love and allow that to be the thing with which you transform or transmute the emotions you're struggling with, you'll find the type of liberation that you are seeking. It is within you. It's not outside of you. To try and heal yourself from the outside has certain benefits if you find the right healing mechanisms. But if you're just finding mechanisms that temporarily hide from you the emotions that you need to learn how to transform and transmute through your own development, then you're going to restrict the growth that you could potentially cultivate while you're in that form. St.Germain is saying it's important to understand this principle of transmutation, for you can easily take a glass of water that is liquid and put it in your freezer and watch that cold transform that liquid water into ice. So too can you take that now frozen water and bring it outside and let the air around it transform that ice back into water. So too, this is true for all emotional states, particularly the negative ones, where if you apply a vibration or a feeling of love and compassion towards them, you will transform them. We would encourage you to take the time to do this, to take any emotion that feels bad inside yourself and extend your love and compassion for it, for that aspect of yourself is in pain and requires your love. Yes. And I know from, if you've ever studied Course in Miracles, which for me was really fascinating, Course in Miracles had a statement that nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal can exist. And that's a very profound statement, because when you realize that emotion is just energy, whether you call it fear or anger or guilt or shame, it's just energy. And it's moving through our bodies. The minute you have an emotion, it moves through your body and becomes energy in motion, right? And like we've mentioned before, when you're in a state of joy, your energy goes up. Your system responds with in a different way than when if you're feeling sad or depressed. But you are the soul in the body that you reside in right now, and you have the power and authority which is given to us all when we come into this body. We have the power and authority to decide or choose to not give life to our fear and not give life to anger or guilt or shame. We have the ability to say, no, I'm not going to give into this fear. I'm going to release this fear, or I'm going to extend love to this fear and transform it, much the same way as temperature will change the structure of water from being a solid to being liquid, or even to being a gas, right? Emotion works in a very similar fashion, that when you apply a different energy to a negative emotion, you'll change it. So I encourage you to take a moment whenever you find yourself struggling with emotions and bring it forward. Bring that negative emotion forward and then extend love to it. Treat it like it's a separate entity that's suffering. Treat that party that's in pain or depression. It's a party that's sad. It's a party that's depressed. Give it love. Care about it. Go inward and care about it and watch the magic of your own God-given ability to transform or transmute energy from just one state to another. Master Jesus often tells me that's what the real principle behind changing the water into wine is. It's taking a negative emotional state that you call fear or guilt or shame and being able to transform it with the use of your spiritual consciousness from a state of fear into a state of love. And if you want to right now, you can take a moment. Let's do this together. Take a moment and identify an emotion in your life that you get repeated that you might not like maybe fear or guilt. Call it forth right now, sense it, and find out where first you feel that sensation in your body. Once you've identified where that sensation is in your body, take a moment to put your hand over that place and with an intention of love and caring towards that emotion, communicate this thought to it. I'm willing to love you even if I don't understand you. That statement in of itself has a very profound effect. First of all, most of us, when we are in an overwhelmed state of negative emotion, we don't understand why we're feeling that way. So you need to be truthful with that part of yourself. I'm willing to love you even though I don't understand you. And that part of you will feel acceptance because you're admitting the truth. You don't understand it, but you're willing to love it. And that in and of itself will create a slight shift, and you can feel it. For me, whenever I've done that, I would feel like an expansion of energy happen almost instantly when I tell that part of myself, I'm willing to love you even if I don't understand you. There's an immediate shift in the energy. And the minute you become aware of that shift in energy, St.Germain saying that is when you're applying the power of transmutation to your emotional energy. You're using the spiritual energy of the violet fire to transform that energy from one state into another. Michael's saying, into your divine estate, you can bring yourself into your divine estate through this process, which is the recognition that you are able to transform and transmute energy at will. Again, forgive the lag because I can see there's a bit of lag at my end. I'm still trying to figure this out. We're also in the middle of our courses and classes that we're working with right now. We're on the last course of our Mediumship 103 course. We're on the last program of the year, and we'll be bringing that back next February. So I'll have the time to really focus on getting this up and running the way it is able to. I just got to learn what the technical terms and stuff are. But we'd love to take some Q&A, but they're saying that we're getting close to the midday hour here. So let's just see here. Wonderful. Isn't that fascinating? They had it's 12:02 right now, and they had us move into that state of transmutation at that 12 o'clock point, which is the point in the 1 billion strong movement that we are developing on this planet, where we're trying to get 1 billion people together in a state of love and grace for 30 to 60 seconds every day at either 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. every day, or any time during the day that works best for you, but to be willing for 30 to 60 seconds at least once a day to move yourself into a state of love or grace. Michael's saying you can apply this to yourself too. Whenever you feel pain or upset, move into a state of love or grace towards that aspect of yourself as you would towards the rest of this world with this 1 billion strong movement. He's saying there's no difference. Energy on this dimension is just energy. It has different shapes and forms, but it is still just energy. And you influence it by the mere fact of your attention. Do you influence it and alter it? But they're saying I should take another 30 seconds now, and let's intentionally, all of us right now, move into what we call for ourselves a feeling of love. Just bring that awareness of what you call a feeling, or what you would imagine a feeling of love would feel like, into your body. And take a deep breath and expand that feeling out to the world. Like you can breathe it in and expand that vibration out to the world. And as you exhale, expand it out further. And just feel, yes, feel that energy going out. Feel how it's affecting your body as it moves out from your body. Send that energy of love out to the entire planet and everything contained on it. If you need to breathe deeply to expand it more, do so. And as you exhale, expand it again. Remember, love is what you are. It's not something you have to acquire. In the development of your personality from the moment your physical body was born, you were given another self that you call John or Mary Beth or Joey or Jessica, whatever the personality that you were given as you were raised is another self that is not the self that is actually you, but the mechanism through which you express the self that you really are. That personality you have is open and amenable to your willingness to alter it and change it to express dynamically in this world. And so we go forward, all of us, in this process of becoming that which we already are through this finitely constructed personality. And as you begin to allow yourself to realize that who you think you are is not who you truly are, but who you think you are is what you choose to think. What you choose to think is what you choose to become. It's what you'll become is what you think. Or as Master Jesus would say, as a man thinketh, so shall they be, right? As a person thinketh, so shall they be. And that's important to understand that simple principle. Learning to monitor my thoughts took me a long time. I went through a very difficult time in my earlier years where I was in deep depression. I was under psychiatric care. I was on medication. So I understand fully the process of being in deep despair. And I also understand fully the process of being in intense anxiety. I understand the process of moving away from that and beginning to understand the mechanisms of that and being able to learn how to transform that. And every single one of us has within us the capability, the potential to transform or transmute our mental and emotional conditions. Once we have the right knowledge, once we have the right skills developed that allow us to do that. It's like if you don't understand how to put the ignition in the key of a car, you're not going to start the car. Of course, most cars don't need keys, but you still have to have the fob, right? If you don't have the fob, you can't start the car. So it's really important to develop the skills and knowledge. One of the things we try to encourage people to do is to learn to ask your angels and your guides to come into your life, to ask them to come and guide you and assist you in connecting to your higher self, in learning more knowledge and information about how you can conduct yourself more effectively in this third dimensional world. Now, during this ascension process, there is a massive influx of angels and ascended masters and divine beings and multidimensional beings from many star systems, all coming in consciousness to this point of time and space to assist humankind as a whole in this process called ascension. And what really is this process of ascension? It is the elevation of consciousness from merely being a finite perspective of reality. In other words, being not just these physical bodies, but being these divine spiritual beings that utilize these physical bodies to manifest expressions of consciousness that represent the highest expression of what we call the divine or God through this matter into this physical world. And we are still, as a species, quite a ways off from fully mastering that. When you look at the hunger and the war and the politics and the stuff that's going on the planet, all of these things are manifestations of fear, of lower vibrational consciousness, whereas the manifestations of hope and faith and contribution and excitement and love, helping others, are manifestations of love. And those manifestations of love are guided by higher vibrational elements of consciousness within yourself. Learn to align yourself to the higher vibrational. Don't try to talk to your guides and angels from a dust state, because you'll be at that vibration. Get yourself, shake it off, breathe, relax, center yourself into a joyful moment. All of us have joyful moments. They tell me this repeatedly. Every single human being has their own understanding and approximation of what love is. And once you can recall into your awareness, they're saying once you can call into your awareness what a feeling of love is represented inside you as a feeling, once you can grasp that, they're saying from that you can give it more attention and expand it and expand it and expand it. And that energy will begin to transmute or displace, much the same way as the dish soap will displace the oil on water. That will expand the negative vibrational energies out of the body, so that then you can, from that perspective of a higher vibration, call in Master Jesus or Master Buddha or your guardian angels. They're available to us all the time, but if we're not tuned into their station, we can't hear them, and vice versa. So we're going to get around to looking at some questions and answers. Again, please forgive the lag. We'll get this sorted out as I keep learning this new skill of going live on YouTube. So let's see here. Oh, hello, Neo. Hello, Julia. Hello, Christine. Wow, so good to see all you guys here. Really, really happy. I apologize. I got on a bit late because we were finishing the orientation. We were just starting the last of our 3 courses, and we had to do the orientation this morning, and we're catching up and rewriting new manuals that are going to be for the courses next year. So I got on a bit late. And I'm really grateful that you guys waited and you're here. And let's see what you guys have to say and what sort of questions we can answer. Hi, Luke. Yes, it is exciting. I got to say, coming live with I mean, Michael is just giggling at me. He says, this is like a playground for us. He says, this is playground for us. This is playground for us. To be with you is joy. To be with anyone who sees and hears and aspires to the highest light in themselves and wishes to share that light with the others, it is a joy to be with you always. And for me too, it's the same. I delight in this. So we're going to see if we've got any questions or concerns. Yeah, Julia, that's not I don't think it's your Wi-Fi. But one of the things I did learn this week is I've had to we have like 7 devices on our system here. And I've actually shut most of them down to do the live. They say that will help with some of the buffering. As well, there's some settings inside Google that I have to adjust called latency settings that will alter the way it was. And I'll get all that stuff correct this week. I'm sorry that I have to, you guys have to endure the buffering. I know it's a little uncomfortable, but they're telling me you keep going, you don't stop. Even though things get a little difficult or they're not quite the way you expect them, you learn to handle them with joy, love, and enthusiasm. Even the things that are difficult, very, very important. So be patient, and the results will always come out. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, good morning. So remember, it's not your fault if it's buffering. I know it's a little annoying, but it'll be cleared up soon enough. Hi, love and blessings to you all, brothers and sisters. Oh, wonderful. Best to you, wonderful. How may I connect? Reflection is asking, how may I connect with my guides and angels? I've yet to have a free flowing conversation like what you're doing now. It's like baby steps. Like this was a process that unfolded, and I'd been doing it for many years and wasn't even aware I was doing it. I mean, as an intuitive life coach, I often help people from what I thought was a very conventional process. And oftentimes I would get information and insights and inspirations that I thought, wow, am I ever smart, right? And often I found out that it was actually them putting guidance through me in areas where I could receive it. But to actually begin to connect your guides and angels, there's 3 or 4 basic elements you want to understand. The first element is how to clear your energy so that you're in a plus energy state. So you want to clear your energy. One of the ways you can clear your energy is you can go out and you can ground yourself. Go out, connect to a tree, connect to the earth, take a bath, take a bath, but do something to ground your energy to the earth elements so that your body gets grounded out. So there's the negative energies transmuted out, and your body's realigned to what's called human resonance, or the magnetic frequency of the earth. Your body radiates a field that's resonating the same way the earth's magnetic field does, and they're not separated, and the earth recharges us. So grounding your energy, making sure you take time to ground the earth and feel that connection between your body and Mother Earth. That's the number 1 step. The number 2 step is to consider eating high vibrational foods. Get away from foods that are low vibrational, dense foods, like raw, like meats are a low vibrational food. It's a dead energy. Most processed foods, processed sugar, caffeine, pharmaceutical products. There's certain shampoos and body products that people use that are highly toxic. They're not even aware they are. So moving away from things that are going to bring your vibrational frequency down that way and up. Vibrational foods will bring your energy up. Getting rid of things that bring your energy down, get rid of them. But yeah, increasing greens. If you can increase your greens intake, I do green smoothies, almost 2 liters every single morning. Plus I do protein drinks, and I do other things that are very high vibrational for my body. So getting your body into a high vibrational state is really, really important. And the third step, so grounding, vibrational foods. And the third step I would recommend is getting your mind quiet, teaching your mind to be quiet. Remember, our minds in this world have been taught to go blah, 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 blah. And how many of you have that going on in the back of your head? Yeah. In the back of your head, you've got to train your mind to be quiet. You don't need a backseat driver as a divine being, because you're a divine being. You don't need this little self behind you going yakety yak. You want to teach it. You want to go yakety yak, don't come back, right? You want to teach it to be still and to be quiet. And there's simple ways you can do that. One of the simplest ways I learned a long time ago, and I've used it. I've got clients to this day that use it. I got people I've done reading for that I share it with. It's really simple. You can take your left index finger and you can put it to your lip and just make this sound in your mind. And immediately your mind will start to become quiet, because it's conditioned to know what that means and that sound means, and it becomes quiet. So you can continually train your mind to become quiet. And at that point, and then move into what I call a state of love. Access a feeling of something that made you feel really good, and then start calling on your divine team. It's from a high vibrational place you want to start connecting. You do not want to try connecting to beings on a low vibrational state. Although there are times where you can be in a very difficult situation and you can say, please, I need help right now. And if it's coming from a sincere desire to get away from the low vibrational place, your team will join in and help you. That's just what they do, right? They're all around you all the time. Every one of us, we're not alone ever. Just because your eyes can't see them and your ears can't hear them doesn't mean you can't learn to see and hear them with your internal eyes and your internal ears, right? Which is sometimes called intuition. Let's see here. Oh, I love that. You guys had so many questions. I'll get to as many as I can today. This is really exciting. Okay. William, can you ask the masters what is going on with me energetically? I feel blocked in my ability to engage spirit and manifest. I've been struggling to change my reality for 12 months exactly. Well, they're laughing at me. They're saying it's interesting that it's at that 12-month mark. They're saying it's time for you to let this go. The first thing they're saying is you must remember that there is no struggle in spirit. There is only struggle if you are in fear. We would recommend then that you be willing to release your fear. That is your first step, to release your fear. This is where you have been stuck. You cannot hear us through that frequency. Although we are present and with you, you might feel our presence. Even now, you can feel or sense the vibrations of the shivers or the tingles or the heat around you or the cooling around you all of a sudden, and you'll know we're present with you. But what you are asking is, how may I be more clear? Release your fear. That's what they're saying for you. Release your fear. And literally, if you look at when Master Jesus taught, one of the things he talked about, he said forgiveness. He was really big on forgiveness, and he still is to this day. And he says, forgiveness literally means to let go of. Forgiveness is when you let something go. And literally the Aramaic language in which he taught, the word forgiveness goes back into translating into to let go of. So you want to let go of your fear. How do you let go of your fear? Stop giving it attention and start giving attention to things that have meaning and value in your life. It will take practice. I mean, we know that some of you are struggling with emotions, but you must learn to not struggle with them, to release them, to not give them attention, to not feed them. They'll scream and they'll clamor like they have importance and value for you, but they do not. The darkness does not deserve your light. Do not give it attention anymore. Allow yourself to step back from it, turn away from it. And this is what he meant when he said, turn the other cheek, not to other people. Turn the other cheek from that stuff inside you that does not serve you, that fear, that guilt, that shame, that depression, that anxiety. Turn away from it, right? Is there a reason for it? Do you need to focus on that? No. But certainly it was created. It's an energy. But as you begin to not feed it anymore, all of a sudden it begins to lose its energy. How do you spend time listening to people that ignore you? No, you will walk away from them. The same thing with your fear and your guilt and your shame. When you stop giving it attention, because it can be a very convincing storyteller. Oh, but no. Your fear, your guilt, your shame, your anger, they will try to grab your attention because they like your energy, right? So you want to stop feeding that wolf, right? But yeah, that's what they're saying for you. Is to really just learn to let go and be away from all of that stuff. Don't give attention and focus to the struggle. Learn to let go. Let go. Okay. Hi, Don. If I flood myself with love, that's a great, if I flood myself with love, will it boost my health? Absolutely. Woo! Yeah, they're just saying absolutely. When you move yourself into a state of love intentionally and you flood that vibration, that feeling into every cell of your body, because you can intend, because you're conscious, you don't have limits unless you believe you have limits. You can take that vibration of love and you can move it deep, breathe it deep into the marrow of your bones, right? And the marrow of your bones is the genesis for all your red blood cells and white blood cells are generated from within there, right? So if you move the love right to the marrow of your bones, the DNA, the very DNA of the matter within those cells begins to become affected by that vibration of love. And if you sustain that vibration long enough, the effect is inevitable. Much the same as if I start, what's that song? Not Down on the Boondocks, but any famous song any song that you really like, whenever you hear it, you can watch it. If you're still dancing and going to clubs and dancing and doing that sort of stuff, you go to a concert and a certain song comes on and everybody starts going with the song and they're going, that energy, that vibration from that song comes into their system and it stimulates an action. So yes, if you flood your body with love consistently, repeatedly, your consciousness in the cells will begin to adjust and respond to match that. Think about it. If you see something really funny happen in front of you, it makes you laugh. If you see something really scary in front of you, it makes you frightened if you're on autopilot. But when your body can be induced into states of change by the way you focus on things, they're laughing, saying they're saying it is so easy, but there are so few people that will tell you how easy this is, because your society has been constructed in such a format to give you the illusion that overcoming your difficulties has to be really hard, when in fact the exact opposite is the truth if you understand how to utilize emotional energy. And this is one fashion in which you can use this vibration that you call love. And every single one of you, they say, every single one of you understands some understanding of the vibration of love within yourself. And you can stand on that love, for love is the rock of all good things. And you can stand on that love and be present in it and allow that vibration to go into the consciousness of your body and into the space around your body, and you will begin to be the initiator of the changes that you've been so seeking throughout this life. For everybody seeks love. That is the truth. But you cannot find it through your suffering. You can only find it by finding it. Great question. I love that. Julie, how best can I live in harmony with family members on a completely opposite vibrational level that live in a closed and fearful, negative, angry state? Well, that's a very good question, and they're all clamoring. Everybody's got something to say about this, right? But I'm going to talk from my personal experience, because I've got a family that's very, very eclectic, very different. And some are high vibrational, some are low vibrational. I don't deliberately expose myself to low vibrational people, right? My family is determined by the quality of my consciousness, not by the biology of my body. And I've been very strong on that truth for many, many years. That spirit, the quality of my vibration, determines what constitutes my family. That does not mean that I don't value the people I have a biological relationship with. I love and cherish all beings on this planet. That is the ultimate goal, is to love and cherish all beings. It doesn't mean you have to go jumping into a mosh pit with them because they want to do that. It doesn't mean you have to go out and hunt animals because they want to do that. You still have to honor your path. As for dealing with specific family members that you have to expose yourself to on a daily basis, I would suggest this to you. Before you even go into their space, stop. Move into a feeling of love in your own heart, and then extend that vibration out to them. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. Just extend that vibration out to them and wish them well. And if you do that each and every day, you don't have to say anything, but just observe. Because remember, just as my voice as a sound wave is going into this system and out into the ears of your physical body, and you're hearing that sound wave come in your ears, so too when you feel a certain feeling, a certain quality of energy, and they're telling me right now to tell you guys, and you know this because we are with you now, and you can feel that vibration. You can feel our light and our love. So you know that the non-physical energy is equally as effective as the physical energy is itself once you understand how to utilize it, access it, and expand it and distribute it. So yes, before you have to deal with toxic people, go into a state of love and grace. And while you're there, choose to stay in that energy, right? If you have to spend in a meeting, for example. But before you do, if you do it before you go there, I promise you, you'll start to see changes in people around you. And I witness this all the time, every day of my life, where people in certain situations, I'll go into a grocery store and I'll hear a mother yelling at her child, and I'll just move into a state of love and appreciation. I know the mother is just anxious and feeling afraid, and the child's wanting to explore, and I just move into love and gratitude. And all of a sudden, she'll stop yelling. You start to realize, and an exercise I used to give students to do, I'd say go to a restaurant or a coffee shop or somewhere public where you can sit in a corner quietly. And in that corner, assess the energy of the room, assess the behavior of the people there, and then move yourself into a state of love and joy inside yourself and feel it, and then radiate that energy out to the room. And do that for about a minute and a half, and then come back and watch what unfolds. You'll notice people laughing, people's posture will change, things will start to change. And once your senses start to get evidence of this energy actually doing things in front of you, you then begin to learn and grow beyond the model of who you think you are right now, and you begin to evolve yourself into something more. You suddenly become aware, whoa, I can affect time and space and matter with how I'm feeling, and I am affecting time, space, and matter. All of us are, with how we're feeling at any given point of time and space. Just as the masters and the beings that we all work with, consciously or unconsciously, are affecting time, space, and matter with their energy. And energy is emotion, and emotion is energy in motion, right? Remember that. So try that, explore that. And when you come back next week, or as I learn to utilize the full capacity of this live stream, you can share your comments. I'll leave the wall open on a moment-to-moment basis so we can have an ongoing 24-hour chat system in place, like some of the other speakers that I admire do too, so that we can build this communal energy up. We can build this frequency of love and change this planet. And like I know it's not a theory to me, it's a fact. Just so you're aware, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but when we started this 1 billion strong movement a few months ago, the over the last 125 days, the number of earthquakes that were happening, the intensity of the earthquakes dropped down. There were no 7.0 or greater earthquakes for over 125 days until yesterday. And this is since we started the 1 billion strong movement, which is an intention of love to the planet, so that we transform this planet from a perspective of love rather than a perspective of fear, to restore its electromagnetic equilibrium with love, with our intentional love. So it went 125 days without a 7 or greater earthquake, and we had our first one yesterday after 125 days, and it happened in an area where there was no harm or damage to anybody. So Gaia will adjust herself according to the intentions of the people. It responds to the vibration. It's not going to harm us if we're coming from love. It just doesn't work that way. And energy does what energy does. Fear does what fear does. Love does what love does. Oh, you're very welcome, Luke. Does consciousness have feeling? That's a great question. I love that question. You guys have great questions. Monica, does consciousness have feeling? Consciousness is feeling. It is all that is. Consciousness is all that is. It can be through our focus transformed into joy. It can be transformed into love. It can be transformed into patience. It can be transformed into war. Consciousness is the unbroken continuity of being at all points of time and space, right? And at different degrees and rates of frequency and vibration. So yeah, consciousness is feeling. And we get to change that. That's the other beautiful thing about consciousness, is you can change your consciousness. You can be in a consciousness of fear one moment and a consciousness of joy in the next. It's an amazing thing when you come to that place. And again, hi Lily, I'm sorry that your video keeps freezing. It's not your fault. It's at my end. I'm still becoming familiar with the software. I'm still becoming familiar with the live process, and I'm studying some tutorials to get some support there. And it might be that I have to get a whole new system that can work faster than the one I'm on right now. I'll find all that out this week. Are all the viewers here upgrading their DNA, unlocking higher? Absolutely. I don't have to read the rest of that question. No. The minute you move into a collective of beings, whether they are physical beings or non-physical beings, that have as their primary drive the expressions of love, the expressions of love is the only way to put it, the expressions of love and the degrees of love, because there are many different layers to love as there are many different layers to fear, then yes, that very nature of will alter and upgrade not only your DNA, it will begin to upgrade your thought processes. It will begin to upgrade your hearing abilities. It will help you to open up your clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairgustions, all of the clairs begin to open up as you increase the vibrational energy that you are focusing on consistently. And love is far more powerful for you to focus on than fear. You'll always transform fear with love. You can always transform fear with love. You just have to stick to it long enough, right? You just got to stay with it. So like I said, I used to be clinically depressed and chronic anxiety. And I have to say, when I first experienced that I could actually change the feeling of my anxiety, diminish it just by caring about it, was a mind-blowing thing for me. To liberate myself from my suffering was just the most wonderful thing for me. And from that point forward, the journey began. And I spent a number of years, a good 10 or 15 years, undoing all of the conditioning, all the negative emotions, all of the programming that my environment had given me about who I thought I was. And I redid it all by changing the vibrational state and learning to reorganize my thoughts to match ideas and thoughts of love and grace. I hope that addressed your concern. Oh, you're welcome, Neil. Wonderful, wonderful, Neil. That's wonderful. How do I know that my spirit team, specifically my ancestors, hear my talkings to them? I talk to them most times, and I do not know if they hear me or not. Well, Lily, they always hear you. And they're saying to me right now, the only reason that you have any doubt that we hear you is because you have not learned to hear us. But we have always heard you. Um, they're saying the fact that you are asking this question has indicated to us that you are now opening that doorway within your own heart to hear us. And we welcome that. Be open in your heart to us as we are always open to you. Be open to receiving the responses and the information that we are always delivering to you. Release that doubt that you have that we can communicate with you as well. Release that doubt. Release that uncertainty that exists within the very nature of your question, and you will begin to hear us. For we cannot, if you believe you cannot hear, you will not hear, even though you can hear. And if you believe you cannot see, even though you can see. So it is very important to release the doubt or the uncertainty around our presence with you. For we're always with you, dear one, always, and always shall we be. Oh, thank you for that, Lily. Thank you so much. Hi, Naveed. Just wondering, can you automatically open all one's chakras and grant them the ability to channel, or do we have to do some work ourselves? Well, like anything, Naveed, and that's a really great question. I'm so glad you brought that up in this forum, because a lot of people need to understand there is a process. There actually is. There's a process. If you go out and get into a car to drive a car, there's a process to driving a car. There's a process to nourishing your body. There's a process for getting your mind clear and focused. So yes, all of the energy centers in your body are active at all times. They may be suppressed or restricted. They may be more expanded. They may be in sync or out of sync. They may be out of whack. But all of those energy centers can be aligned, and there are many schools of thought, many places where you can get training on awakening and developing the Kundalini, for learning to utilize the energy from the lower chakra systems and energy centers in the body, being able to stimulate your pineal gland to begin to awaken and utilize and amplify the power of these centers, and then draw in more information. There are certainly schools that will train you to do that. And we certainly have a program that we do that in as well. But the goal is a process. You learn to work with one, become aware of the energy of the root chakra, become aware of the energy of the solar plexus chakra, become aware of the energy of the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the crown chakra, all of them, the third eye. You want to become aware of them. Learn to sense and know their energy, but you also must know how to breathe the body. Because when you start to work with non-physical energy, it's important to know how to integrate it, right? So when you start opening your heart chakra, it's important to make certain that the body is receptive to that energy in a constructive way. You don't want to start opening those energy centers up if you've got anxiety and fear going on. So there is a process, and unfortunately, we don't have the time today to get into that, but I would certainly be more than grateful to examine that and explore that more deeply with people if you want me to do that. By all means, if you want to request something to be examined during these lives, please do so. I'll create a subject list, and we'll start building a process that works for you and the needs that you have to become the divine being that you truly are here in this world. Oh, that's wonderful to hear, Drusilla. Wonderful. Sending you lots of love and healing. Yeah. St.Germain's pointing a finger at you, sending a ray of violet light to you. That's a great question also, Bridget. Well, you're finding one right now. This is just one of many, 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 many communities that are evolving and developing. You'll find what you are in resonance with. So the quality of how you feel, the quality of what you think, will determine exactly what you end up having in your world around you. For what you feel within you is precisely represented in the world around you. And the minute you begin to learn how to change what you feel within you, you'll begin to see the world around you begin to change. And that's where you are right now is exactly where you need to be right now to begin to explore the very nature of the answers to that question that you've just asked. And we're always with you. You're never alone. So you're in the right place at the right time. And if you understand that, then learn from where you are because you're going to be attracting things. You get more curious about this, more wanting to know more, to experience more, to be more, to become the master that you are, that you all are. We are all these divine beings in physical form, here to express what we are here to express. And that is a choice you get to make. So yes, you can find them. You can Google them, and as long as you're in the right state, I always say this, before you go searching for something or asking your divine team for guidance, make certain you move your awareness into a state, the closest state to love you can move your awareness into, and from that place, do your search. From that place, look for things. If you're doing it from a place of desperation or a place of uncertainty, you're going to get different results. I'm not saying that those things can't work, because I can certainly say when I was ready to jump off a bridge when I was 20 years old, and my guardian angel John spoke to me, I did not feel in an emotionally deserving place. But there are moments that you can be so in need, that need can be so clear and so pure that they'll respond to you. You can get divine intervention. Absolutely. And I've had that many times in my life, divine intervention. One day we'll talk about that. Yes, and you are awakening those aspects within you. And thank you so much. You're welcome. It is said that God will only give. How can I assist myself with self-healing? Again, this is a great question about self-healing, because inside you, inside all of us, there is this intelligence that is connected to all time and space experience. It knows how to build a finger. It knows how to build an eye. It knows how to take an apple and convert it into blood and skin and bones. And isn't that amazing? That's within us all right now. And if it's within us to do that, then it stands to be good to get into a relationship with, to communicate with that intelligence that's there right now. You're doing it all the time, right? The minute you ask your hand to open or close, you're asking that intelligence to do that for you, and it does it, right? It's beating your heart for you right now. So go into that place with a vibrational intention of how they're saying this right now. How would you feel, dear one? How would you feel, dear one, if you were already healthy and whole? If you ask yourself that question, how would I feel if I were already healthy and whole? That feeling that would come from the answer as a response to that question, that feeling energy is the foundation on which you want to build your healing. For that vibration, that joy that you would naturally feel at the idea of being fully healed, it is that joy that will heal you. And you want to give attention to that joy. Let it expand. Let it fill your body. Let it fill the space around your body. Let it fill your organs, your nerves. Let it fill every aspect of your being. But feed that which gives you joy. Feed that which makes you feel vital. Turn your attention away from your fears of disease. Turn your attention away from the fears and the doubts about those things. Turn your attention towards the true love, and let that become the paradigm in which you expand that energy into your form. Let that become your reality, not the one you've been conditioned by this world to believe, because this world would have you believe that you are just a body, that you are just a mind, a singleized personality that is at the behest of the environment, and you are not. Life was put here to happen for you, not to you. But you must learn that you are the driver, not the driven. Oh, you're welcome, Monica. Okay, that's a great question, Naveed. We teach a mediumship program that's designed to train people to connect to their guides and angels, archangels, past loved ones that are on the other side, that are in non-physical form, because death is a lie. Death is the transmutation of energy from one state to another. Where we have these physical bodies, I have this physical body, it's going to be a temporary process, but it is only energy that's structured like this. Death, in reality, is a transformation of consciousness from a physical state to a non-physical state. I don't have that right now. I'm communicating from a non-physical state through this physical medium called my body, just as we all are. And when you begin to understand that when the body ceases to function, it just means I don't have a broadcasting system to broadcast directly into this physical realm. but I do have an awareness of energy, and I can still broadcast. And that's what Master Jesus and Buddha and Lao Tzu and Madame Blavatsky and all these multiple beings, are my guardian angel John, all the beings, the non-physical beings, don't have a physical mechanism, but they still have energy they work with, so you can learn to tune into them. And we teach people how to tune into your divine guides, your angels, how to get tuned into that realm. Instead of just using these physical ears and physical eyes to see, you learn to use your non-physical senses to see and hear what is already around us at all points of time and space. It's a 3-level program. It's called Mediumship 101 course for beginners, a Mediumship 102 course for beginners, a Mediumship 103 course for advanced students. Intermediate is the number 2. But each of these courses is built on a very specific platform to allow you to move your awareness from being just this body-mind mechanism that you've been thinking you are, into recognizing the different qualities of consciousness and energy that are available to us at all times. It's not by chance that we are connected. It's birds of a feather flock together. Like attracts like, on an electrical energy level, on an emotional level. Like attracts like on an emotional level. That's why we stress, be high vibrational before you try communicating with your guides and angels. Learn to shift your vibration. And the whole course is designed to train people to learn to manage and control their own vibrational frequency, to communicate with higher level beings, and to grow and evolve with that. You want to be very mindful about learning to control your vibration. But the courses we're finishing our last one of 2019. It's finishing. We just started it today, and it ends in 3 weeks. But it's a group because it's our advanced program. If you want to know more about the courses and classes, you can go to my current website, which will be changing shortly. You can go to WilliamMichaelForbesCoaching.com, and you can get all the information on the courses we have next year. We have a total of 6 courses next year that are running in tandem with each other, and they start in February. You can also go to my new site. I believe there's information there too, WilliamMichaelForbes.com, where you can get information. We're transitioning to WilliamMichaelForbes.com from WilliamMichaelForbesCoaching.com. But we will still keep both sites running in tandem until we make that transition carefully. And if you have any other questions or concerns about the class and courses, you'll find all the information on WilliamMichaelForbesCoaching.com right there, right now. And the cost and the expenses. It's for new students. It's for new students next year. It's $199, and for repeat students, it's $99, and that's in U.S. funds. So yeah, so you can go and get all the information for the course. It gives you the breakdown there, and the breakdown there. I must caution you. They've told us over the last few weeks that we're redoing all the course manuals. So there's going to be new material in the coming year for the course that's not there right now. But what's there is essentially the heart and soul of what will be there anyway. And we've watched many beings come from being just 3D to are now, many of our support mediums, the people that work with us in our courses, are actively channeling fully now and doing amazing things and distance healing. And if you want, you can reach out to some of our students, Lorraine O'Connell, Elena Avziopoulos, Tatiana Hellier, Philome Gray, Michael Rolla. They're some of the mediums that we work with in our courses and classes, and you can talk to them and reach out to them. They're on Facebook. They're in our 1 Billion Strong group, and you can reach out to them and talk to them about what their experiences with the courses have been, and I'm sure you'll be quite surprised at what I'll have to say. Oh, you're welcome, Oliver. Thank you. You're welcome, Luann. You're welcome, Miriam. Thoughts on psychedelics? Well, reflection, that's a great subject to bring up, and one that I have to say, the human brain, when you understand, because I used to have a belief that psychedelics could actually be really beneficial, and at certain points in my earlier years, they were very beneficial, but unwittingly so. I was fortunate enough to have experiences, unlike many others that I've encountered that did not. But in your brain, especially in the pineal gland, when you learn how to activate your pineal gland, and we will address that in our courses, when you learn how to activate your pineal gland, and there are many other schools out there doing that too, you can develop the chemistry in your brain to produce very similar effects to ayahuasca, to LSD, to marijuana, to methamphetamine. You can stimulate states of being, states of consciousness that are equal to or greater than any drug you can find on the planet today. Because within you, within your DNA, is the conscious awareness of every living organism ever constructed in time and space on this physical dimension that we know of. Is all that data and information and knowledge is stored in there. When you learn how to activate your pineal gland, you can trigger or stimulate a highly enlightened state that you might get from acid, right? But I don't recommend that you use psychedelics because you've got it all within you. The kingdom of God, the kingdom of all things, the kingdom of all creation is within you, and you want to be able to tap into that. You want to learn that process, and again, your breath is a very key thing. There's many courses on the Kundalini you can get involved in that will help you to see that. But the format for this group is to try and address your questions and concerns, to bring you to a deeper connection, to bring humanity to a higher vibration of love. And we call it Supernatural Saturdays because it's really super to be together like this and creating these vibrational energies. And it's natural that we all be high vibrational. It's natural that we live in a state of love. We were born in a state of love. We were born in a state of pure being. And you can return to that state and still have your individuality, right? Anyway, again, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I don't have no idea how long we've gone, but wow, it went for a full hour, just like it's supposed to. So I want to thank everybody for coming by. I will see you next week, and hopefully I will have all of the glitches worked out with this. And again, thank you for your questions, and thank you for subscribing to my channel and watching the videos. And they're telling me that I will be starting to put out a daily message every day. That's going to be coming very soon, where I will be putting out a daily message for all of you guys to be inspired by and uplifted by with my divine team. And again, from all of us to all of you, much, 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 much love. And again, thank you for taking time out of your precious day and giving us a part of who you are today. Much love. Bye for now.